Joining us now is Behnam Taleblu, that is, senior fellow at the Washington-based Foundation for Defense of Democracies, where he focuses on the Middle East, specifically Iranian security and political issues. Sir, the Netherlands representative has just heard Geert Wilders has lived for 2 decades under the threat of fatwa for wanting Islam banned in his country. Now 2 Muslims are facing trial. How important is this trial as Greater Europe is facing rising conflict with Islamic immigrants in their countries?
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you, and it can be a bit of a thorny question depending on how you skin this cat. One is the cultural or religious angle, but the other is the political and legal angle, and that's really the point I want to stress today. You know, make no mistake, you've had a rise in third world and even Middle Eastern sponsored crime, not just in Netherlands, but in Sweden, in Germany, you name it, particularly in Central and Western Europe over the past decade. Now, is this a call to end all humanitarian measures or further restrict immigration? No, but at the same time, you have to be quite cognizant of who you're letting in, making sure you have the proper vetting. And at the same time, right now, with respect to threats against citizens of these countries, whether they're citizens of Netherlands, Sweden, Germany, or many of the other places where we've seen an uptick in immigrant-sponsored crime from the heart of the Muslim world, these legal systems need to do right by their own citizens. And that means protecting the freedom of speech that exists there, respecting equality before the law of all of these citizens, and perhaps most and critically, stopping the incitement against citizens in these countries by foreign nationals.
Now, you heard Joe Biden tell reporters yesterday that Israel's prime minister was not doing enough to negotiate a ceasefire with Hamas. As we've now learned, Hamas made those 5 Jewish, 1 American hostages record videos before they were slaughtered. Benjamin Netanyahu offered this response.
And now after this, we're asked to show seriousness? We're asked to make concessions? What message does this send Hamas? It says, kill more hostages, murder more hostages, you'll get more concessions.
Ben, the Wall Street Journal editorial board wrote, Hamas murders 6 hostages. Israel is blamed. How much more is Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu supposed to do with an enemy so vile and brutal?
You know, this is a great question, and one, unfortunately, that gets to the heart of the strategic and moral situation we face in the Middle East today, which is that Israel's adversaries, which make no mistake, are the same adversaries of Western civilization and also of the United States of America, whether that's the proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah or their patron, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and the Islamic Republic of Iran. They benefit from this constant threat of a wider war, this constant American desire for de-escalation and deconfliction at any cost. And what they're hoping to do is by making the conflict more lethal and more gruesome, they're hoping that America intervenes not to put the handcuffs on America's adversaries. They're hoping that America intervenes, just like you saw with that statement from Joe Biden, to put the handcuff on America's allies, like states like the Jewish state, states like Israel. And here, unfortunately, after such grotesque barbarism was on display, and the story that followed within 24 hours of that, which is that Hamas said that basically as part of this psychological warfare campaign against the Jewish people, that they would be executing hostages anytime they sensed the IDF was getting closer to them. You know, you cannot give in to these people. What else are the Israelis supposed to do other than fight for their very survival here?
No kidding. No. Now, last week, Israel destroyed 6,000 rockets in a preemptive attack on Hezbollah weapons, a stockpile there. Compared to Hamas, just how powerful is the Hezbollah terrorist group as a threat to the people of Israel?
Well, this is a very lethal terrorist organization that has military capabilities that unfortunately are much larger than some European conventional militaries. And make no mistake, the media in these places, like Lebanon, like in Iran, are talking about the successes they've had. You've had 60 to 80,000 people internally displaced in Israel because of Hezbollah's military capabilities already on display. You've had about 40 ghost towns in northern Israel because of this. And you've even had pro-regime media in these countries basically be talking about philosophical wins their military has had against Zionism because Israel has retreated from its own territory due to the increasing drone, rocket, and mortar fire from this terrorist group.
Well, to learn more about Ben Taleblu and his work, just visit the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies at fdd.org. Thank you for joining us today, sir.
Pleasure. Thank you.